Super Videos back at you for another video. This is going to be my predictions for Season 7B, or the second half of Season 7 of The Walking Dead. So, as we know from the mid-season finale of Season 7, the second half is probably going to be dealing with Rick and the other survivors trying to unite the communities that exist that are under the rule of Negan so that they could fight back or plan to fight back against the Saviors. That is basically the arc March to War from the comics. For those who have read the comics, you know that this arc is before the actual conflict between the surviving communities and the Saviors and Negan. And that conflict is all out war. So in terms of this second half, that's probably what we're going to be seeing. We're going to see Rick trying to unite these communities to fighting back against the Saviors. The first step to moving towards that is to get everyone on the same page at Alexandria itself. Most of the people are already there because of the deaths that have happened, specifically the two that happened right in front of everyone's eyes, that being Spencer and Olivia. So they're already there. They want to fight back, and we've seen that from Carl, from Rosita, from Michonne, and other characters at Alexandria. So we know that they're already on the same page. Now the next step would be to get the people at the hilltop on board, and that shouldn't be difficult. We know Jesus is on the same page to some degree. We also know that Maggie and Sasha are definitely on board because they're at one end of this conflict because of wanting to take vengeance for the death of Abraham and Glenn. So because of that, and since Maggie is taking a more leadership position at the hilltop, and mixing that with us finding out that the people at the hilltop don't really like Gregory, who's their leader, so that all points towards it being easy for Rick to get everyone at the hilltop on board with this war. Now, it's highly likely that Gregory is gonna oppose this conflict, but like I said, Jesus, Maggie, Sasha, even Enid, and others at the hilltop are probably going to go with their gut feelings, which is to fight back. So that's the first step. Then the next step is for Rick to get people at the kingdom on board. Now, he doesn't know about the kingdom yet, but based on the promo for the second half of the season, he's going to be introduced to Ezekiel and the kingdom very soon. This is the next step for him to get people at the kingdom on board. Now that may be difficult because Ezekiel doesn't really like conflict, but given that the kingdom has fighters like Richard who actually do want to fight back as well, and probably some others as well, it may not be that difficult to do. And we gotta remember that Carol and Morgan are also there. So if they're actually reunited with Rick, then Rick can actually get them to also help to convince Ezekiel in joining his forces as well. That's the other part that comes into play for Carol and Morgan to be reunited with the survivors. So that's going to be a big part of what happens in the second half as well, probably. They're going to have to invest some time with that as well. Concentrate on that a little bit. We got to remember Carol and Morgan don't know about any of the deaths that have happened. They don't know about Denise, they don't know about Abraham and Glenn, and they don't know about Spencer and Olivia. So they're gonna have to be caught up with everything that's happening. And also going a step forward, when Ezekiel is finally convinced to help out and join forces with the survivors, there's definitely going to be this part where he has to actually tell the people at the kingdom about the Saviors and Negan, because most of them don't know. The only people who know are people that are really close to Ezekiel. So that's going to be important as well, and there may be some disagreements there within the kingdom community. They can actually focus on that. And all of these things that I'm saying are going to help to stretch out the half season so that we only get March to War for this half season and we don't get into All Out War until season 8. Once Rick has everyone at Alexandria, at the hilltop, and at the kingdom on board, then the next step may be to kind of see if there's any other communities that want to join forces with him. And I think Tara is a key to that because she knows about the Oceanside. She may actually be willing to introduce Rick to the Oceanside as well. At the Oceanside, they may actually be willing to help out if they know that there's all of these communities that are going to fight back and they have the numbers. So if they join in, they may actually be able to defeat the Saviors. Looking at the Savior side, there's going to be a bunch of things that need to be resolved as well. At the Sanctuary with the Saviors, Negan, of course, when he is coming back, he's going to find out that Daryl escaped. So there's going to be a major altercation between him and the survivors, and he's going to want to find out where Daryl is. He's going to probably go to Alexandria to try to find them. He may even look at other communities to try to find Daryl, and because of this, Rick and the others may need to hide Daryl somewhere. If Negan finds out that Maggie is alive, that may actually add another element to the conflict. Negan is going to want to know why Rick and Father Gabriel lied to him about Maggie. So all of these things are going to come together to kind of create some sort of animosity between these two groups, the survivors and the saviors. Now, of course, from the survivor group, the animosity already exists because Negan and the saviors killed so many of them. But from Negan's side, he still wants to work with the survivors and he doesn't really want to fight them at this point. But if he finds out that Daryl escaped, that Maggie is alive, things like that, he may actually be forced to want to fight back. Now, the other thing that could also come into play, I'm going to be doing a separate video about that, but just to talk about it briefly here, the mysterious boots. Now, that person is most likely from a new community. Now, we don't know if this new community and the people living in it are friends or foes, but in either case, I think they're put there to kind of space out the season, the half season, so that there's more storylines added in before All Out War starts. We still don't know about this new character or this new community. We don't even know if they know about the saviors or not. If they do know about the saviors, then they're there to kind of add to the communities that are going to fight back and build up this war. But if they don't know about the saviors and Negan, then they're just a group that are there, like Dawn's group back in season 5, to kind of space out the season and slow down a little bit with the comic material they're going to cover. But in either case, that's going to be a big part of the second half as well, because if it wasn't, then they wouldn't put that in the after credits. I think what we're gonna see second half of this season is March to War and the survivors trying to unite all of the communities that exist to try to fight back against Negan and the Saviors. In terms of comic material and how much is going to be covered, we're going to see all of the March to War arc in this half, plus some extra things that they're going to add in there. This half season is probably going to end with some sort of hint or some conclusion to March to War, where Negan says, we are going to war with these survivors. So that's probably where it's going to end, with Negan delivering a speech and telling his saviors, we are going to war. So that's probably where it's going to end. So share your thoughts about what you think about the second half. What do you think we're going to see? And make your predictions and theories in the comment section below. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.